What's going on, guys? I'm Ghosty, and today we're going to be going over how to fight in Spellbreak. This game is entirely focused around combat mechanics, and learning how to properly fight in this game is what will achieve victory for you. One of the greatest things about Spellbreak is the game is generally well balanced overall, and you have a lot of freedom of choice to create the build you want to based on your playstyle. Before anything, I suggest you play all classes to level 6, not only to unlock all of the talents, but also to have a clear understanding of each class and gauntlet to know their strengths and weaknesses. Until you personally use a gauntlet or class, you will not fully grasp the struggles they go through in combat. Once you understand the struggles a certain playstyle faces, you will know how to use that to your advantage when facing it in game with your preferred playstyle. When you have a basic understanding of all the classes and gauntlets and how to play around them, go ahead and play what you find most fun. Since the game is well balanced and heavily skill based, you can achieve victory with any class, combination of gauntlets, and talents. One of the most important things to have in Spellbreak during combat is patience. Half the time I go into a fight, the opponent is shooting fireballs at me and you can simply strafe side to side to dodge the fireballs. The same goes for every gauntlet in the game. Don't panic and be patient. Watch your opponent and what move they're going to make and counteract it with your own options. At times, I compare Spellbreak to a fighting game. Every action made by someone forces a follow-up action or reaction, and success or failure will be determined by how many of those actions you made are the right choice. If you begin to panic in combat, you'll make a lot of mistakes which will inevitably send you back to the main menu without a victory. Just be patient and slow the game down in your head. Everything has an animation, every spell has a projectile speed, and your opponent is also running through options through his head and attempting to make split-second decisions in the heat of battle. If you really want to improve in combat, record a game, look at your own mistakes. Let's say someone engages you with a boulder. Your reaction is to dodge the boulder by strafing or using your rune. Now your opponent uses their rune to close the gap. Now you can choose to quickly attack them or continue to keep the distance between you and your opponent. This cycle of action to action gameplay will determine the result of the fight, and the person to make the most correct decisions and least mistakes with executing better mechanics will be the victor. Something I always tell my Twitch stream when someone inevitably asks, "How do I get better?" is if you never go into combat, you're never going to improve. You have to go into combat and put yourself in these uncomfortable situations, and you're going to lose. A lot. And that's okay. You can't expect to win every single fight, especially as a new player, and even as an experienced player. There are factors completely out of your control, such as third parties, and we're all human, so mistakes are bound to happen. Maybe you're going up against a stone shaper, and you meant to use your rune to go upward to get off the ground, but you moved your mouse too fast or too slow, ended up just going forward, staying on the ground and taking an insane amount of damage. Patience is what helps you improve, and if you never practice fighting, you're never going to get any better. Sure, maybe hiding in bushes all game and playing around with invisibility, not taking any fights to get to top 5 will make you better at a battle royale game mode, but it doesn't make you any better at Spellbreak. Pressure is also a key factor in combat. If you don't know what pressure is, it can be directly correlated with how aggressive you are in combat. If you get the surprise jump on someone, you immediately have pressure on them, forcing them to react to what you've done, and now they're on the back foot. If you continue to be aggressive by placing your attacks well and forcing them to continue reacting, they can never properly counteract you as they are in survival mode. The more pressure you apply on a player, the better off you will be in that fight. Your goal with pressure is to force your opponents to make worse decisions because the mounting pressure will cause them to panic and make mistakes, which you can capitalize on and take them out quickly. Although a huge amount of pressure is great, you also have to be wary about tunnel visioning. At the end of the day, it's a battle royale, and if you tunnel vision too hard and chase the opponent for days, you will inevitably get third-partied, and now that person will have escaped, and you are now on the back foot with a third party applying pressure on you. So what do you do when you're the one in the pressured situation? You need to find ways to either turn that pressure around onto them, or by disengaging and juking them to reset the fight to a neutral state. It is always safest to disengage a fight if too much pressure is being applied, but sometimes you don't have that choice due to circle size, location of other players, or simply class and rune choice compared to their aggression. This is when you have to attempt to flip the pressure onto them, which is completely reliant on how well you can dodge their attacks and hit yours. Let's say you're at 100 health and they're at max, but you're able to get a few quick hits in to get them to 60 health. You have now flipped the pressure and can continue to aggress on them, unless they're crazy and have no care what health they're at, or ignore the general rules of combat, and this will happen at times with players that have lower awareness or game sense. At the end of the day, the best way to get better at combat is to put yourself into combat situations. After every fight, win or lose, think about what you could have done better if you made the right decision. And don't just think of what the right decision would have been, but think about every single action you could have made and what would be the result of that action. Sometimes what looks like the worst decision is actually the best decision to make under the circumstances you're in. Maybe you'd have to take that full Dragonfire combo, or you have to walk through that firewall to put yourself in the best position possible for the victory. Every situation is different, and putting yourself through as many situations as possible will help you learn and understand how to act and react. With this video, you'll have a better idea of how to approach combat and setting yourself up for future success. If you have any combat tips that helped you, let me know in the comments below. This is Ghosty. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget you can also follow me on Twitch and Twitter for more content and updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the HoloLands.